Well, for more, we can speak to Natasha Lindstaedt, professor in the Department of Government at the University of Essex. Hello to you, and thank you for speaking to Paris Direct. Um, should we be surprised about who Trump has nominated so far? When he was campaigning, one of the things he mentioned was in his first term in presidency that he had picked people who weren't loyal. This time around, seems like he's doubling down.
Exactly. I guess in many ways we shouldn't be surprised. All of these picks are people who have been incredibly loyal to Trump. Some of them are loyal and are at least perfectly competent, but some of them are loyal and have some dangerous ideas or don't really have much experience at all. I mean, we were talking about Robert Kennedy there, and Trump, wants to put him in charge of a department that, of course, will affect the lives of millions of people. And given that he's a vaccine skeptic, I mean, this poses real serious risks for children and for children's health. I mean, we know that with vaccinations from 1994 to 2023, they saved over a million lives and saved over 500 million hospitalizations and saved the country somewhere around 2.7 trillion in direct and indirect costs. And so it's true that not everyone is going to agree with the advice of Kennedy, but it will have an influence and could lead to other outbreaks. And of course, there's concerns from the dental community about his advice about not having fluoride in the water. So he may have some ideas that are good, but he has some other ideas that are incredibly dangerous.
And is there any chance that some of those dangerous ideas were just a part of campaigning and once in government, things might be a little bit more moderate?
Well, that's what I think some people were hopeful for in after Trump won the election in 2016. But that administration pushed through some ideas that were very extreme, like the Muslim ban, for example, and that was hard to implement. And I think some of the ideas that Trump has said he's just going to go move full force ahead on is deporting immediately 11 to 15 million immigrants. I mean, this is going to be really hard to execute and poses all kinds of risks about how do you find who people are that are immigrants who have not come here legally. And it could lead to some forms of vigilante justice where people are trying to do Trump's bidding for him. And I think you're going to see Trump trying to really cut into what he refers to as the deep state. We already have Elon Musk appointed to this new Department of Government Efficiency, along with Vivek Ramaswamy, and maybe they will intend to cut 50,000 civil servants. I mean, that's what Project 2025 outlined. And Musk himself has already said there's going to be a lot of pain before there's anything that's good. So I think that because Trump believes he has a mandate and the guardrails aren't there, he's appointing people that are more loyal than really competent and know the way democratic processes work. You may see him going, with more full force than even in his last administration.
Do you think America's institutions are at risk?
It's really hard to say. It's really hard to know. I mean, it's always a bit of it's incredibly unpredictable to know what Trump is going to do and how this is going to affect Americans. But I think one of the things is that because he thinks that he has so much support, because he thinks that he won this election so decisively, he's going to want to try to go ahead with some of these policies like tariffs. And if Americans are complaining now about inflation, if that policy of implementing high tariffs comes into effect, if the policy of pushing out millions of immigrants comes into effect, this is definitely going to increase prices way more than Americans had felt under the Biden administration.
We've been talking about loyalty. These nominees have to be confirmed by the Senate. That's controlled by the Republicans. Do you think any of them will be dissenting against these nominations?
So that's going to be the big test. Will someone like Matt Gaetz, who had been up until recently investigated by the Justice Department, the very department that he would be in charge of if he is Attorney General, and he's being investigated for sex trafficking, if someone like that gets through, if someone like Pete Hegseth, who is going to be in charge of the Department of Defense, that's a department with, I mean, several million employees. It has some around 800 billion that he would be in charge of. And if these, and he was just a Fox News anchor, no experience really managing people of more than maybe two or three people or small platoons. If those nominees get through, I think that's really a sign of how much control Trump has over the Republican Party.
Running out of time, Natasha, but just wondering, you're in the UK. It's had its own bit of drama in politics in these recent years. What do the students make of what's happening stateside, though?
I think everybody's just sort of shocked and surprised that this has happened again. I think seeing it from afar, you can see that Trump has been suffering from mental decline and pushing really extremist agenda. So it's mostly just surprise, but then at the same time, when you hear what Americans really want, he's able to tap into this much better than the Democrats were, and so we'll have to see if Trump really gives America what they think they want.
All right. Thank you very much. And Natasha Lindstaedt speaking to us there. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.